But actually, Matt, I want to talk to you about what you went through, because we're talking about all the big pharma stuff. But I'm curious, when all the lockdowns happened, there were a handful of businesses that stood up and said no. What you ran one of these businesses that the government tried to shut down. You resisted, and the first thing I just want to say is this is a story that I'm excited for you to tell, because we've long told people, nonviolent civil disobedience, stand up for what you believe in, file the lawsuits, file the complaints, make them work for their oppression or whatever, and you will win. And you won. They tried to shut you down. They hurt your business. They hurt you. But then in the end, you ended up winning out. So let's tell us exactly what went down with your business, how that started.
Yeah, well, so as soon as COVID started, I was actually at the time I was still working as an intelligence analyst for the military, just to supplement my income. Because when you start a restaurant, you're not off to the races, automatically making money. So when COVID happened in March of 2020, they shut my entire program down that I was working on. And I was working on a pretty intense, a pretty serious program, and that had a lot of national security implications. So when they sent all of us home and they shut the entire skiff down, I paid attention and I said, well, this must be something serious. This must be a virus that's going to kill half the world, like they're saying. So I took it serious, and I listened to the recommendations of, at that time, Governor Northam, and I shut my restaurant down, took a step back because I wanted to be responsible and didn't want to put my customers in harm's way. Nobody knew at that time what was going on. So it wasn't long after that, maybe a month or so, that I started to realize something weird was going on. And then 3 months after, June of 2020, Governor Northam said, okay, restaurants, you can open back up, but under these provisions. And that's when it clicked. I said, wait a minute. This is more about control than it is our health and safety. And it was because they put mandates in place, like you have to wear a mask when you walk in the restaurant, but as soon as you sit down, somehow you're safe from COVID. And nobody's allowed to sit at my bar, but I could pull the table up to the bar and you can sit there. And my bartender couldn't hand a drink over the bar. My bartender had to walk around the bar and serve it to the person side by side. Just very arbitrary mandates that made absolutely no sense. And so, like I said, I spent my entire adult life fighting dictatorships overseas, and I wasn't going to come home and allow a dictatorship to rule. So I did the only thing I could do, and that was fight back by not complying, civil disobedience. And I kind of did that kind of under the radar at first. I didn't announce it. My customers just knew that when they came to Gourmelts, they were walking into what America used to be pre-COVID. They were walking into freedom.
A safe space.
A safe space. There you go.
Space.
And I operated that way actually from June of 2020 to January of 2021. I would get a call from the health department maybe once a month or so, and they would say, "Hey Matt, we got a call from one of your customers that said you're not following COVID mandates," and I would never confirm or deny it. And at that time, the health inspectors, they weren't allowed to come out and inspect, so none of them ever came out to my restaurant. So I would just say, oh, well, thanks for the call. I appreciate that. And they would just say, oh, yeah, just follow COVID mandates. And I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And it went like that until January 2021. Now, what happened in January was Biden took office. And when he took office, as you guys know, he started firing off all of these executive orders. One of those executive orders mandated OSHA come out in conjunction with local health departments and shut down restaurants specifically that weren't following COVID mandates. And that's when I got my first visit from the health department and OSHA. And they said, hey, Matt, you're not following COVID mandates. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, because they don't make any sense. I said, if you can make them make sense to me, common sense, because I'm all about common sense. I've never been a very political guy. I've never trusted politicians on either side of the aisle, to be honest with you. And I just want things to make sense. And what he told me is really what set the wheels in motion. He said, well, Matt, it doesn't have to make sense. The governor said you have to do it, so you have to do it.